you've got to put it in the context of its time. In the literature of antiquity, and remember, these Gospels are written within Greco-Roman culture. I mean, 3 centuries of Hellenization, written by persons very much immersed in that culture. Maybe they're doing it naively, I don't know. But I mean, the point is that for the most part, in fact, exclusively, this is the case in the respectable literature of Greco-Roman antiquity. The tears of a rustic are not material for tragic concern. You know, they're not. They shouldn't be regarded very seriously. They certainly shouldn't evoke grief or very much in the way of pity, except in the way that you might, you know, pity a dog that's a little bit sad because its master is away, but not, you know, nothing that really plumbs the depths of human despair. Peter simply doesn't belong to a class that's capable of that kind of serious attention, or worthy of that kind of serious attention, or capable of that kind of spiritual depth in the eyes of antiquity. I'm talking about the late antique world. I'm talking about the Greco-Roman world. Remember, even Judea and the Galilee in the first century were very much part of that world. So it's even extraordinary that Jewish Christians would have immediately seen in this story something of profound tragic depth. But when you're talking about authors like Luke, not only is he seeing something in the account, no doubt, that he takes from Mark, not only is he seeing something that he might not have ever seen had he not been a believer, but he is reporting something in a way that others, throughout the empire over generations, are going to be taught to see as deeply meaningful, serious, as something worthy of the attention both of God and of human beings. And I'm hardly the first person to notice this. I mean, one of the great literary critics of the 20th century, Erich Auerbach, pointed this out in his best book, Mimesis. Is that Peter here is presented as emblematic of our humanity, of all our humanity, of its deepest suffering, its deepest grief over our failures, the failures of our love, the failures of loyalty, the impossibility, it seems then, of reconciliation. And on top of that, these books then entered into and shaped the consciousness of a culture that at first resisted the very notion that this could be a scene worthy of the attention of well-bred men. And Auerbach was just right. You simply, in Greco-Roman drama and storytelling, you might see the tears of a rustic. Don't get me wrong; they might weep, but usually for comic effect. They're like Sancho Panza. Their sufferings, though real to them, to us are a lampoon. Remember, what was the earliest pagan critiques? The powerful ones, the ones that, from Celsus that we know about from Origen's epitomes from Celsus, or Porphyry or others. I mean, or Julian, is just the obscenity of these rather low, servile, unexceptional men being treated as saints, but also as exemplars of how we should live and who we are, and what should be loved and what should be pitied and what should be admired. That is a revolution in sensibility that's both aesthetic and moral at once, and that over many centuries certainly had its part to play in changing how we understand our humanity, our common humanity.